Or wait, was that the other series? I can't remember.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The World Center of Racing. Replacing a sandy road course built on the beaches of northern Florida in 1959, it was to become not only the first oval in the United States, other than Indianapolis, to stretch over 1.5 miles, but also the first multi-purpose race facility with an accompanying road course. The layout has been changed somewhat over the years, but tonight our racers will lap the same 3.5 miles and 12 turns, made famous at the Rolex 24, balancing outright speed on the oval, in some cases reaching over 170 miles an hour, with handling on a low grip, flat infield course with a 75-minute run tonight to the checkered flag. Hi everyone, and welcome to Daytona International Speedway as we kick off Season 8 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa Elite and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth as always is Larry Lefty McLeod, along with Lee Thompson in the virtual production trailer, bringing you all the great and the best views of tonight's action. And so good evening, Larry, and as we start a new season for our GTP and GT3 racers, there are a lot of unknowns that meet you and me. Can Orion Racing's Mike Dam three-peat as our GT3 Pro Champ, or will last season's AM champion, the Wrong Stuff's Michael Brooks, make a play for it? And with D2D's Paulo Kui Grant, last season's GTP champ, stepping away from the sim rig this season, who's going to fill the Hawaiian shoes in season number 8?
Those are definitely some big shoes to fill. But yes, Greg, thanks. This is a great way to kick off another new season here, World Challenge. We're, as you mentioned, at the Daytona Oval, right outside the airport there, as you can see in the background. But to me, this feels like we were just here, like last week before,
yes,
something like that.
We were.
Been here a few times. I had an Airbnb for the last 3 weeks, so I've been covered. But after soaking in the sunshine, yes, I'm looking forward to another new season.
And I've been commuting all this time.
Yeah, you hit it right there on the nail on the head, that we've got parity up and down in here, in both, I think, in the GT3 ranks, Pro-Am, as well as in the GTPs. I think it's gonna be tough to pick any one of these GTP drivers to step up. Will it be some of the ones that were competing last year, or are we going to see somebody new? The GT3s, though, yes, we've got some very strong AM competitors as well as some strong pro competitors. The Orion team always seems to bring it. Lots of questions here tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing them get started here in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, not very far away from the green flag here tonight at Daytona. But let's do this, Larry, as we always do here in the World Challenge. Let's turn things over to Kevin Ford. And I'll tell you, and I got a little preview of Kevin Ford's track guide tonight. He is more animated and excited than I think I have ever heard him for a debut race. So let's turn things over to Kevin. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of Daytona International Speedway.
Welcome, everyone, to Daytona International Speedway here in beautiful, sunny Daytona Beach, Florida. Great to have you with us as we provide your track guide today around this 3.56-mile road course. We will start our guide today from the beautiful 31-degree banking here at Daytona. That's right, the World Center of Racing, where speed and agility and endurance is what it's all about. Coming out of the NASCAR Turn 4 or Turn 12 of the road course, we're going to pick up some speed heading down to that stripe here at Daytona as we cross the starting line and head down into Turn 1. Boy, this is a busy corner. Heavy on the brakes here, down through the gears. With traffic, this corner can be very difficult. You want to get a good launch up off this turn here as it takes you into turn 2. Very slight little S section, and then down into turn 3 here, the infamous International Horseshoe here at Daytona. Tight apex corner. Want to get right out to the outside there to get a good launch, get some speed up through this very fast internal section of the road course, around turn 4 here, and ultimately down into turn 5. Heavy braking here, late apexing corner, let that car rotate, get right back to the bottom, and track it right out to the outside. This will bring us to turn 6 here. This will bring us right back up to the banking as we come down off the brakes and get right back to throttle. Very difficult there, off camber and very slippery. Tough turn to get that traction to bite as we come back up onto the 31-degree banking through turn 7. Of course, this section right here is the best opportunity for overtaking your competitors, as there is an enormous amount of slipstream here at Daytona. And coming down into the bus stop, you'll see a lot of changes in position happening here. Down through the gears, smooth entry into 8, through 9, through 10, out of 11, and then ultimately up the banking into turn 12 as we pick up speed once again to head down that very fast front straightaway. Boy, you'll see a lot of overtaking happening here at the end of a race, certainly for that finishing lap, as this is where it all takes place. Drivers 2, 3, 4 wide sometimes, trying to take that victory and walk away with a win from the World Center of Racing. Thanks so much for being with us. There's your track guide for Daytona International Speedway.
And thanks so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of Daytona International Speedway, Larry. And as Lee is putting up the track map there so everybody can see what those challenges are, whether it be that very difficult left-hander coming in, high-speed left-hander coming off of the oval into turn 1, or of course as you come down to the International Horseshoe over at turn 4, or getting a good jump back out onto the oval, as Kevin talked about in his track guide. Being able to come out of the second hairpin out of the Western Horseshoe and be able to make a good run through turn 6 back onto the oval, or of course the always difficult bus stop now known as Le Mans chicane as well. This track definitely presents a lot of challenges.
I look at this track sometimes as it's the worst compromises that you have to decide how you want to run this, because you need to be able to get, as you say, through that Le Mans chicane, that back straight bus stop. And you'd like to have a pretty good amount of downforce there to carry your speed between the two longest straightaways the track offers. Obviously, the lead in and then the lead out to get you back to start finish.
Right.
But those two infield hairpins they're so slow. You need all the grip you can get, both of them. And then you've got the entry off the oval into turn 1. All of that are areas you want downforce. So you're forced into this compromised situation. You want a good high-speed stable car. You want a good hairpin car. You want a good long straight line speed car. You can't have it all, but you got to figure that out. So setup really becomes critical for every one of these cars in both these two classes, that you've got to nail the setup, because we're going to see tonight, we've seen it before, someone's going to have straight line speed, but they're going to struggle in the infield, and vice versa. So it'll be interesting to see tonight who makes those compromises, and is it enough to get them the hour and 15 minutes checkered flag.
All right, so Larry, we've got our drivers starting to leave the pit lane and head out on track for their first flying laps of tonight's qualifying session, a 15-minute qualifying session. And as we always do here in the World Challenge, we give our drivers 4 attempts, 4 flying laps, in order to set their fastest lap and set the grid for tonight's race. And so we're starting to see some times come in now as a number of our GTP cars have crossed the stripe and completed their first flying laps, and starting to see some of our GT3 drivers starting to put in times as well. Let's give them, Larry, maybe another lap or so, but first, before we start running down lap times here, as we're watching Bailey Petrowski, currently our fastest driver on track in the number 115 Petra Westcarpa new livery on that machine this season. Let's quickly take a look at our upcoming schedule for this brand new season number 8 of the Ricmotech World Challenge. Of course, we do start things off here at Daytona. But we are going to be all over the world, whether it be our next round at Fuji, or of course we're going to be at the Circuit de la Sarthe, where they hold the 24 hours of Le Mans. We're going to be heading to Monza, and of course all the fastest and best tracks here in the United States as well, with a couple of 90-minute races thrown in with our mix of 75-minute runs here. So we're going to be running 90-minute races at Le Mans as well as Monza, but another wonderful season on tap here in the World Challenge. So let's take a look now, as I think the majority of our drivers have now put in lap times. As we mentioned, Bailey Petrowski in that 115 car, currently your fastest driver. And we're watching right now, I believe, Jackson Detmer in the number 77 machine. And this would be as good a time as any, Larry, to run down how we can tell the different GT classes apart, because we have our GT Pro and GT Am categories, and Jackson is one of our GT Am drivers, and we can tell because he's got the green mirrors on his doors, he's got the green number boards and windshield banner and end plates on the wings, whereas our GT3 Pro drivers, let's see if we can pick up one of our Pro drivers here, like Agustin Castro, who is new with us this season, is a rookie here and out of Buenos Aires. He, like our other Pro drivers, has the red mirrors, red windshield banners, red number boards, and end plates on the wings as well. Augustin driving for the Wrong Stuff as they increase their numbers here this season. Then, of course, we've got our GTP racers split between the two platforms, between the BMWs and the Cadillacs, running, and they've got the black number boards, mirrors, etc. But they look a little bit different than a GT3 car. I think you should be able to pick them out. So here's an interesting thing, and I haven't. He has not set a time yet, Larry, and maybe looking for a stroke of good luck after what was a learning season for him last year. D2D eRacing's Bobby Childs has switched over from the BMWs to the Cadillacs. He's a man of he's a man of substance. He's a man of distinction, and Bobby Childs, I think he feels he just fits much better in a Cadillac than a BMW.
Perhaps that's more his style.
Yes, the gold chains, they fit better with the Cadillac, I guess. But Bobby just now sets in his first time on the board on what was his second flying lap, a 135.19, good for 9th right now in GTP. So let's take a look, and we run down through the classes here. As Bailey Petrowski, currently your GTP provisional pole sitter with a fast time of 132.17, about 3/10 clear of Ben Rose, with another rookie, Lukas Sidor, out of Poland, currently your third fastest GTP driver with a fast time of 132.63. If we jump over to the GT3s, we'll look at GT3 Pro. Mike Dam is currently your fastest Pro driver for Orion Racing, and Larry, I think the Orion guys have moved back over from the Audis that they ran last season over now back to the BMW M4 GT or M3 GT3s, and they've also increased the size of their team, as team principal Frosty Sinclair is going to be joining Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke, and Robert Hartley this season. But Mike Dam, currently your fastest driver. Chris Thorman from D2D is currently almost half a second off of Dam's times than Yago Mores for the Wrong Stuff, currently third fastest. And then in GT3 Am, looking to follow in his brother's footsteps, Jeff Brooks from the Wrong Stuff, currently your fastest driver in his Porsche 911 with a provisional time of 145.778. That is currently 7 thousandths of a second clear of Leo Dragotta in the number 118 Porsche. And then Michael Brooks currently, Michael Brooks currently sitting fourth in pro, but third fastest in AM is Drazen Lovren. Drazen is out of Croatia, and he is also a rookie here this season.
Yeah, he'll be out there in one of those Ferraris, and there you go, bringing more of the wrong stuff team here into the Ricmotech World Challenge. Very, very cool. This team continues to grow. I do see, look at that leaderboard, if nothing else, a lot of Porsche on that leaderboard. So we've got a lot of that tonight. There are a bunch of BMWs in this field, just looking at the mixture, a handful of Ferraris and a Mercedes. Ken Copeland running the Mercedes tonight. So yeah, a little bit of variety, a little bit of mixture. None of those Audis like we had seen last season. And good shot here of a couple of our GT peers. There's Aaron Beaver coming out of the bus stop, currently 8th on this grid. Billy Petrowski, the time everyone's shooting for up there at the top. And he is done qualifying his Petrowski. So Petrowski's sitting on that 32-1, 3 tenths ahead of Ben Rose, a couple more tenths ahead of Sidor. So we've got a couple of folks here running for the front of the field, a couple of Cadillacs right now holding down that front row before you start getting to those BMWs. More of the wrong stuff. Agustin Castro in one of the Porsches. See him currently 5th in the pro grid, which would put him all of about 8th on the overall GT3 grid with Lovren, Brooks, and Leo Dragotta, the other AM driver, is just a little bit quicker right now than Castro is in that GT3 car.
Yeah, so a couple things to note, and hopefully we will have, as soon as he finishes up qualifying, we'll have Michael Brooks from the wrong stuff to sit in with us, Larry, and hopefully answer some questions going into season number 8. Again, he was our season 7 GT3 AM champion, and he's moving up to the pro ranks, currently sitting 4th in qualifying here in GT3 Pro. And
currently out-qualified by his AM class brother, Jeff Brooks, who is currently 2nd, and you can see essentially tied on lap time for 2nd.
They are pretty close, and we've got, for example, we've got Tim Brooks sitting in the chat right now. I don't know who he's cheering. I assume he's cheering for both of them. Here is, oh yes, he says, watch out, you have all the Brooks brothers to contend with tonight. Sounds like,
well, at least although they have the perfect shoes
cheap
on
suits,
tonight.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if we're going to get Albert Brooks and Mel Brooks. I could use a little bit of comedy here Monday night. But no, great to see the whole Brooks family joining us out here. I think that's just great. And fast as always. You talked about Michael and his defending AM class. He's jumped up to pro class here, and then now his brother comes on in. Jeff already on the front row in the AM category. So pretty darn
cool. I'll tell you what, Michael has jumped into the green room, or maybe walked slowly into the green room. I don't know. Let's bring in Michael Brooks, driver the number 83 TWS GT3 Porsche 911, last season's GT3 AM champ.
All right, Michael has joined us here for a few seconds, I guess, here before we go to grid. So, Michael, what are you thinking here about the next season? And now you're jumped up to the pro class. What's your thoughts going into tonight?
Going into tonight, just feeling it out where I fall in the field. I know I didn't qualify very, very well today, but I'm hoping my race pace will make up for it.
Well, you've got the whole family, and it seems the family's making up for the race paces. I'm looking at Jeff up here right now on the front row of the AM category. You guys bring pace at all realms, don't you?
Yeah. Jeff's really quick, really consistent, so I'm hoping he does well in the AM class this year.
Yeah, and we've got your fan club here as well on the chat here watching in. So awesome stuff. The whole Brooks family involved. Good luck tonight, your debut in the pro class, and maybe a little bit of luck in an hour and 15. We'll get a chance to talk to you again.
I appreciate it. Talk to you later.
All right, there you go. Michael Brooks heading off to the grid here tonight, making his debut in the World Challenge in GT3 Pro. Again, our GT3 AM champion in Season 7. All right, Larry, we've got our drivers starting to head to the grid, and let's take a look at the starting order. And to tell you what, I'll run down the GTP drivers here. Is Petro West Racing's Bailey Petrowski is your pole sitter tonight, with Ben Rose from DNA Motorsports starting to his right. Rookie Lucas Sidor out of Poland, he is going to be starting on the inside of row number 2 tonight, with returning driver Fernando Takahashi starting in 4th. Ryan Reisman from DNA will start in 5th, with Eduardo Lorente starting in 6th, with Ryan Reeves from Team Esport Racer, or pardon me, from SRT Esport, starting in 7th, with Aaron Beaver from Aerokinetic starting in 8th. Bobby Childs from D2D qualifies 9th tonight in the number 88 machine, while DNA Motorsports Adam Ross, driving my favorite number 72, he's going to start 10th. Chad Curran is going to start 11th tonight for Elevated Esports, with Bill Mulfield starting 12th. And then we've got Curlin Andrew driving the number 213 machine for the voice of the voice. I thought that was the voice of reason. The voice of Source Racing. He'll start 13th.
All right, let's take a look at our GT3 starting grid. On the front row in the pro category, right where he left off last season, Mike Dam on the front row tonight, pole position there at a 13. Well, I guess it was 13 seconds back from the GTPs. His time actually at 45.2. On the outside of front row, Augustin Castro. He'll be lined up there, actually from the Wrong Stuff Racing inside of row 2 from D2D. It's going to be Chris Thorman on his outside. It's Drazen Lovren from the Wrong Stuff. 2 of those drivers already up there on the front 2 rows. On row 3, it's going to be Yago Mores and Leo Dragotta making up that row. On the next row, you got Michael Brooks and Travis Schwenke. On following row, you're going to have, lost my spot here, there it is, Jeff Jacobs and Rob Hartley making up the next row. Behind them, Frosty St. Clair from Orion Racing alongside David Payton from D2DE Racing, followed by Lucas Dragotta and Dre Divock making up an AM row there. Following them will be Jackson Detmer and Chuck Labano. Row behind them, Ken Copeland on the inside, Russ Ruddock on the outside. Followed by, the next row is going to be Greg Brockway, Frito Sport Racing, all Frito Sport, and John Casey on the outside. Following them, you've got Robert Brist, RFC, and your, I believe
it's
that's going to be
Steward Ron.
Your race steward Ron, and last but not least, Dominique Angelicchio from the Wrong Stuff at the back of the field. I don't think he put a qualifying lap in. Let's see if he wins the race.
He has not joined the session as of yet, Larry, so we'll see if he starts from the pit lane as the pace car now heads down onto pit road, turning the field over to Bailey Petrowski. And here we go. Green flag is in the air for our GTP racers, and they are underway. And Bailey Petrowski getting a huge jump on Ben Rose as Sidor slots in right behind. Then Takahashi, Reisman, Reeves, and Reeves gets around Eduardo Lorente there on the start. So drop Lorente back in the 7th, then Bobby Childs, Aaron Beaver as our GT3 racers. Oh, big brake lock up there from the Aerokinetics driver, Aaron Beaver, and he's going to lose a number of positions as our GT3 drivers now take the green flag, and they are underway. Mike Dam from Orion Racing holds the inside as we've got Chris Thorman trying to get around Augustin Castro. Thorman slots in the 2nd, Castro 3rd, Jeff Brooks, Leo Dragotta slots in right behind Dragotta. Then it is Jeff Jacobs, and then still side by side, just ahead of Jacobs is Brooks and Dragotta. They're trying to find a way through here. So certainly these drivers, as they come through the International Horseshoe for the very first time, still trying to get this order all figured out and get in line.
Yeah, we'll get a good sense here. Who's got a setup that works well on cold tires and who's needs a little bit more heat. Petrowski seemed to be really good on those cold tires as he got a great jump, pull away, and a good job there through the opening pair of horseshoes, hairpins, and now he's back out onto the banking, leading by over a second already over Penn Road and Lucas Sidor. And there you can see the battle going on of Reisman, and that on his outside is the 22 of Reeves. So Ryan Reeves, Ryan Reisman already side by side, the 2 Ryans. They come around the banking, cross start finish, and down in towards turn 1. This is going to be tight. It's going to be real tight. Does Reisman yield? Reisman gets the spot. Reeves yields behind.
That's right, and that also allowed Eduardo Lorente in the 199 BMW to close up a lot of room there as Fernando Takahashi gets around Sidor So move Takahashi up to third early on here. Well, let's jump back to the GT3 racers, and Mike Dam, he doesn't have a 2.5 lead, but at the moment he's got 6/10 on Chris Thorman from D2D, and then he's got the two Wrong Stuff racers in their Porsches, Augustin Castro and Jeff Brooks, going and trying to pick who's going to be the lead car through there. Castro in GT3 Pro, they probably want to have him as the lead car. Brooks, though, is your leader in AM.
You know, one of our Orion cars just went off, and yeah, there's Travis Schwenke, a little bit late on the brakes going into one. He's able to get back on. I didn't see if he made any contact with the wall, but he continues. Great start for this race, though, for Chris Thorman, sitting there in that second spot behind Mike Dam, keeping it close, less than half a second back. And as you mentioned, you got the Castro and Jeff Brooks, the leader in AM, and Castro third spot in Pro. Those two Wrong Stuff drivers right there in those Porsches. And yeah, I think right now they're probably going to hang out. Just let one or the other who's ever quicker hold on to that spot. And then right behind them, I want to say that should be Leo Dragota. Yes, it is. There's Leo right there in that Dragon Sport Racing Porsche. His brother Lucas just a couple spots back, about maybe 5-6 seconds back. You can see him there fifth on the timing tower, fifth in the GT3 AM.
Yeah, as we've seen Leo of late in our Ricmotech sports car series put in some very good runs in the Porsches, and of course was very strong last season in World Challenge as well. Now, we did have, Larry, an incident early on in lap number 1 between Curl and Andrew, who did start the race here tonight, I believe, from the pit lane, and Bill Mulfield, the two GTP racers, and the stewards have ruled that there's no harm, no foul there.
So a little replay here of them, a little bit of lockup. One of them. That right there is the contact, though. That's Andrew on that inside.
Yeah, and I think that was with Larry, some network connectivity issues maybe there, as the racer kind of appeared out of nowhere.
And then we've got Michael Brooks, our pre-race interviewee, in that number 83, right behind Jeff Jacobs as they're coming down. It looks like Brooks tapped accidentally into the back of him, and he decides he's going to go hang out in paddock for a little while.
Yeah, he's going to go hang out in the motorhome section there.
Back.
Wow.
And his teammate in front of him. That is a crazy sequence. Probably even going to get him a slow down off track for doing that. But he's managed to continue, although it says he's in the pits now, so something seriously wrong there, at least on my screen. But
hopefully
anyway,
we can work with the Apex folks and dub in something really witty, like you want to go have a beer or something over there. The motorhomes.
All right, so we got this battle going on between the 213 of Curl and Andrew. He's the one on the outside there, and on the inside, that is the 21 of Shad Curran. Right now, Shad's got the advantage going through here.
Yeah, and Shad, another one of our rookies this season, running for Elevated Motorsports. And good to see him. We've got a number of rookies this season here, Larry, 3 of them by my count in GTP. Now, looks like Castro in the 14 machine definitely having some issues there. He's got enough of a gap between he and Jeff Jacobs at this point that he can hold on to third position in Pro. But Jeff Brooks, who had been slotted in behind Castro a little bit earlier, now finds himself sitting second in AM behind Leo Dragota, ahead of his teammate Castro.
Well, he's going to stick that nose right there on the inside of Dragota and try to take that lead spot. Dragota now back into it, taking the lead spot in AM. Good little swapping of places there, and of course then that third car in that group there is Augustin Castro, but he's just going to let his teammate fight it out. This is flashing at Dre Divock, another Wrong Stuff driver. Ooh, a little bit of bump there as he's lining up alongside. That's Peyton.
Peyton in the 64 machine, and it looks like Peyton got back into the back of Divock and put the car around. The big weight transfer there on the Ferrari sends the rear end going around, and he now drops back, loses 3 positions on track, and currently sits 8th in Pro behind Ken Copeland's Mercedes.
Yeah, well, we've got an eye on Lucas Dragota, the other Dragota brother, as they're heading down between after the second of the hairpins on the infield, heading on down to the oval now. He's in a bit of a battle. That Ferrari right in front of him, I think, is Chuck Romano, who just kind of put it sideways coming out of there. Didn't get the launch off at the exit onto the oval like he wanted to. Right behind them is Travis Schwenke. He had the bigs off in turn 1 a couple laps ago, so he's on a bit of a recovery. Flash forward up now to Leo Dragota, and the battle continues. This is the battle he's got with Jeff Brooks, your leaders, and Am. These two continue to swap spots, seems like every single corner, right in front of Agustin Castro, who's just sit back and watch. Meanwhile, Dam and Thorman, your leaders in pro, continue to pull away about 3.5 seconds up the road from these two.
All right, as we now have Brooks coming down the inside of Dragota, as they're going to head down into past the start-finish line and head down into turn number 1. You know, we saw just on the previous lap where Dragota had a great over-under move that he ran on the 85 of Brooks, and this time by, however, Brooks is going to be able to hold off that advance. It appears as they come down into the International Horseshoe. Maybe I'm speaking a little too soon.
Yeah, Leo decided to take the shortest distance between 2 points and right down to the inside.
Yes.
Does not able to take the distance. By the way, if you didn't watch the Dutch Grand Prix in F1, you saw a lot of that go on yesterday, where a lot of wide sweepy lines is your optimal, but taking that shortest distance would get you track position. Leo tried it, didn't make it stick, but it's a long race. We'll see if he can try that again here somewhere. But I'm wondering if the two teammates are going to try and gang up a little bit on Leo, as you got the two wrong stuff driver of Brooks and Castro there. And already, by the way, as we flash to this pack, and there's contact with one of our GTPs. Yes, it is.
And Takahashi going for a very, very long ride as they came out of the Western Horseshoe, making the run down towards turn 6. I'm surprised he didn't end up with the motorhomes. There, as he loses a number of positions. He's going to lose positions to Lorente Beaver, Bobby Childs as well. And also, I think the two Ryans, Reeves and Reisman. So as Takahashi had been sitting in 4th position, he drops now back into 9th in AM. And Larry, it was getting very crowded there over in the Western Horseshoe.
Yeah, it got a little bit punchy through there. And unfortunately, the one that took the biggest punch was Takahashi. He's able to continue, though. He's back on the track, but not after a wild ride through the grass. This is Ben Rose cleanly making his way through traffic, currently sitting in 2nd. He'd like to make some ground here on Petrowski, and maybe using some of this draft through the traffic here on the Bank Oval will help him do that. As coming into one, well, there's Hartley trying to make his way through the field with Jacobs, and you got the GTP right behind them. I want to say that might be...
it's Hartley directly behind Jacobs.
Yeah, the GTP car coming through. That's the 414.
Yes.
Brian Reisman trying to make his way through.
Yeah,
the other Ryan Reeves.
Big stack up here, as we can see a good portion. There's Bobby Childs now starting to make his way through.
There's a big spin back there. Let's see who that was. It might have been Adam Ross, but there was a big spin back to the International Horseshoe.
I thought Bobby Childs was going for the ride, but there's a lot to be said for downforce, Larry, as he somehow kept the thing on track, because he went very deep.
Very difficult to pass with the way the traffic is right now. There's long lines of GT3 cars that are trying to get their way through, and the GTPs come up and just don't have the patience. They want to get on by. We're on board here with Hartley trailing behind Jeff Jacobs, and I think Hartley's got his teammate.
He does.
Travis Schwenke, I believe, right behind him.
It's actually Frosty St. Clair.
You're right.
Probably Frosty St. Clair that is directly behind.
Yep, so the two Orion teammates kind of nose to tail here right behind the tail of Jeff Jacobs as they head into the Lamar chicane, aka bus stop. Let's see if they can get a run out of this. This will give you an indication, too, of 3 BMWs, who's running a low downforce and who's not. It's one of those cases where if you don't see the Orion cars using the draft, there's a chance they're running a bit more wing angle than Jeff Jacobs. We'll keep our eye on that as we flash up to, you can see the outer view now of Hartley in the draft of Jacobs.
And we've got iRacer93 in the chat, Larry, who says maybe the Porsches are better off parking with the spectators.
Well, one of them tried.
One of them tried.
This battle continuing. Yeah, the AM lead between Jeff Brooks and Leo Dragota. I got it now between these, so I can't just use last names because both of them have siblings in this race.
So Leo and Jeff.
Yes.
As Takahashi is on his recovery, he slots in between these two racers. now as they go through the horseshoe.
The Brazilian being aggressive now, trying to get out of there in the GTP car, and it pays off. He's able to get through. Now he can get the launch onto the oval with full beans and not have to wait for any of the Porsches in front of him.
But that's also given it's given a little bit of an advantage there, Larry, though, to Dragota over Castro as they came out onto the oval. But let's take a look now as Frosty Sinclair, Robert Hartley trying to make ground on Jeff Jacobs, and and both Hartley and Sinclair managed to draft by the number 38 machine of Jacobs. And not only that, but looks like at least Hartley has made up almost 15 car lengths, I think, on Drazen Lovren in the Ferrari, the number 11 car, directly ahead that last time by. Actually, they ran fairly similar lap times, Larry, but the last I had checked in, they were all quite a bit further back from the Ferrari, but now Hartley side by side into turn number 1, and Hartley is going to go around the driver who's currently sitting third in AM, Lovren.
Frosty would like to do the same here. He's going to try the inside. That's contact, though, between them. That's an aggressive dive underneath. Sinclair not showing the patience here in that Orion BMW. And Lovren holding his ground now. He's going to go side by side through the kink into the west hairpin, the horseshoe. Let's see if Sinclair has now got the inside. Contact again!
More contact, and they're getting by. Oh, and it's getting a little dicey there, Larry.
And suddenly a touring car race broke out.
That's exactly what it looks like.
All right, we'll see. Sinclair gets the run, got a good exit, got a good launch. Is it enough? Yes, right. For the moment it is. The BMW is to the inside of the Ferrari, but what if the Ferrari is running a little less downforce, which might have been why the BMW was sticking so well in the infield. We'll see if that then changes as they're on the oval.
Well, and we'll see here as we've got Dre Divock in the Wrong Stuff Porsche. He's coming down low as well. Look at St. Clair comes right across the nose of the Ferrari as they go into the hairpin. Gets a much better entry and, more importantly, a faster exit out of the hairpin. And
good move there for Frosty to get the line he needed and then pit the two Long Stuff teammates side by side next to each other. Rather than having to deal with both of them. So I believe that was Lovren and Divock were side by side, and Lovren ended up winning that battle into the bus stop.
All right, so Larry, we had for a while the 199 of Eduardo Lorente on the pit lane, and he was involved, I think, in a couple of different incidents. One with Iago Mores in his number 9 Porsche. And then also another driver, Lorente, has already been given a 10-second post-race penalty. He is running in GTP this season. Lorente, I think this is his first season in the World Challenge, if I remember correctly. But of course, he's been in the touring car, the Ricmotech TCC, as well as Sports Car Series.
Already part of the family.
Yes. So it looks like he's escaped penalty for the second incident. And he is, I believe he is now looking to see if he's back underway. And it appears that he may have checked out of the session.
All right, well, our Battle of Ryans continues.
Yes. So this is the battle for third in GTP. Ryan Reisman in the number 414 Cadillac. Ryan Reeves in the number 22 machine directly behind. As these two have continued the battle pretty much since the drop of the green flag, they have lost touch with Ben Rose running in second. He's about 8.5 seconds a little bit further up the road.
Yeah, equally as tight a battle, though, is the battle for the lead between Petrowski and Rose, but we'll get to that in a minute because the two Ryans have quite the battle going on here as they've been pretty much since the drop of the green flag 15, 16 minutes ago. These two have just been locked in. Ricmotech seems to maybe have an advantage on the oval. He's been really pulling away, but Reeves seems to be a little bit quicker through the twisties and reels him back in. You can see even through the bus stop, he closes him up. That's a lot of close up right there.
Yes.
But then watch here as see if Ricmotech is able to stretch, or does Reeves get in the draft and do something with it?
Reeves takes a quick look to the outside.
That's a tough pass to make going around the long way into one. Got to get on the binders. Trying up and under. Not quite going to make that work.
Not quite there. You run out and you can see, Larry, there's not a lot of grip to the outside there at the driver's right. At least tonight, the drivers aren't finding it there. Drive-through penalty now given to the number 64 machine. That's D2D Racing's Peyton. And I'm wondering if that is a result of the hit. I don't think it was the hit and spin that we saw earlier, because Peyton's been on the pit lane now for a good long while, for over 5, almost 6 minutes now.
Yeah. Well, I like what we got going here in GTP. It's like we're basically Noah's Ark at this point. We're 2 by 2 by 2. You got Petrowski and Rose 6/10 apart, Reeves and Ricmotech 8/10 apart, Sidor and Beaver about 7/10 apart. So you just got these little groups, and this is the lead one. This is the Bailey Petrowski and Ben Rose battle. These two battled it out a little bit in the last season here in the World Challenge. It looks like they're going to pick up right where they left off here in the opening round of the new season. Petrowski, remember, I think he was up by a couple seconds. Traffic seems to have trimmed away at that, letting Ben Rose climb right back into it. So let's see if Rose can, again, use some of this traffic to close in closer on Petrowski.
Wow, and Rose topped out before he got under braking there at 202 miles an hour, Larry.
Ah, yeah, it's just nothing. It's just like going to the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, and so we'd like to thank and welcome back Buttkicker as a sponsor for the 3rd season in a row here at the Ricmotech World Challenge. And once again this season, one lucky driver is going to win a Buttkicker Gamer Plus system valued at $279.95 US. If you want to turn up the immersion in your sim rig, make sure to visit thebuttkicker.com.
Traffic, see if Rose can use it to his advantage. They take the low side here on the oval. I think that might have been Brockway, who that was. They just went by, but
I think that was I think that was Brockway.
And they're going to catch. I want to say that's Russ Ruddock right in front of them.
In the green and white machine, yeah.
Yep, and that's going to limit the exit speed of Petrowski, but not so much for Rose. And look at the run Rose here gets in the DNA Motorsports Cadillac. He's got a really good run. Stays wide. This is interesting. Didn't really want to get underneath, knowing Petrowski's going to stay low. Didn't want to stay in the draft too long. Almost like he's not trying to pass. Like maybe he's trying to fuel save strategy here at this stage, going now into one. Never bother to try to make the pass.
Well, let's see here as they come underneath one of the Dragotas.
I think it's Lucas. And that number 119. Leo in the 118. Speaking of Lucas, different Lucas. This time Lucas Sidor. And in his entry, he's sitting there in 5th again. He's in this pretty good battle with. He's caught up to he and Beaver have caught.
He's caught up to the 2 Ryans.
Yeah,
and he's got
4-way battle.
He's got Bobby Child. It's probably it's Aaron Beaver behind in the 97.
The Aerokinetics teammates there now have caught up to the 2 Reeves, the 2 Ricmotechs, the 2 Ryans.
The 2 Ryans.
As they have now caught up to Brockway. And soon probably also to Russ Ruddock just around the bend. And another good run there onto the oval is what it's all about. Let's see if anywhere here, if Reeves is able to hold off Sidor, who's gotten around, hold off Beaver, as Sidor has already gotten around Reeves. Later in the brakes for Reeves.
As Beaver thought a little better of it. Ooh, and has to take some evasive action there.
Yeah, I think Russ Reddick wanted that draft off the back of Reeves. And
didn't realize there was another car coming.
And Beaver said, no, I like that draft. Okay, look at this. Reeves now. Is he going to be able to do anything with it?
Oh, and you can see there is Aaron Beaver manages to now get around Reeves as Reeves ran wide coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, these Aerokinetics cars are pretty quick at this stage, working their way through the field. All right, so back up to the front, Mike Dam, just 0.3 ahead of Chris Thorman. Chris really sticking with Mike. Chris, of course, in that Ferrari from D2D. Mike Dam in the BMW from Orion. These two are 8 seconds clear of the rest of the field. About 5 or 6 seconds actually ahead of Jeff Brooks and Leo Dragotta, but 8 seconds ahead of the GT3 Pro field, and having a good little scrap and trying to stay out of the way of some of our GTP traffic.
And of course, you know, Larry, we've seen, I think, in the number of seasons that we've been covering the World Challenge, Thorman has really picked up his game. Of course, he had his very first win in GT3 Pro last season, in season number 7, and you know, this is becoming the norm, where we're seeing him contend for wins now, as opposed to being, you know, in season 5 and 4, we're looking at him being a mid-pack driver. He's really stepped up his game.
Yeah, he has. I think he's done a great job. His consistency is up as well. Their setups at the D2D team seem to be on point. And right now, Thorman's got a pretty good strategy to stay in this race. And this is maybe turning into one of those stay in it as long as you can. I'll be curious to see tire strategies with a 75-minute race. Do they change them at their pit stop? We haven't talked about those yet, but we expect there will be pit stops to come at some point, as that was, I believe, Ben Rose, I think.
Yeah, that was Ben Rose, and Rose has lost a bit of ground now to Petrowski as he was kind of bottled up behind this battle for the lead in GT3 Pro. Now about 8 seconds, not 8 seconds, about 2.5 seconds back from Petrowski.
Yeah, Petrowski did a good job this time through traffic to get on by. We'll see if Ben Rose can chase him down. But yeah, I think Chris Thorman is going to set himself up for a pretty good opportunity in this race, but he's going to have to really execute on that pit stop, that opportunity there, because the Orion team always seems to have nearly flawless pit stops. Like, damn, obviously he's got to hold up his end of that bargain. Chris Thorman, the challenge now is, can he match the pit stop strategy, both the in-lap, the out-lap, and then as well as the actual execution of the stop and keeping it to a minimum. As we flash back to Jeff Brooks, your leader in GT3 AM, with Leo Dragotta right behind him, as Ben Rose goes on by them. I think that's one. Was that one?
That, I believe, that is...
that's your Ryan Reisman, Lucas Seidor. Yeah.
Yep. I think it was actually Reisman.
Yep. And our lone Mercedes in the field, Ken Copeland. Currently 7th in the Pro. 10th overall in the GT3 field.
Yeah, and you know, and we've seen Copeland of late very, very strong in the sports car series, running in the GT4 cars, and we'll see how things play out for him here this season here in World Challenge for the Team Esport Racer driver.
Certainly sticking with Travis Schwenke at this point. You know, Schwenke had an off earlier in this race. The two of them are then right up onto the heels of Frosty St. Clair. Just about 2 seconds up the road, you could see that other Orion driver just in front of them, with Drazen Lovren right between them. Yeah, this is one of those cars you could really destroy a set of tires quickly. Yeah. If you start chucking this thing around like it's qualifying for the first 30, 40, 50 minutes of this race. And we'll see if these drivers end up taking tires at their stops, because this place can chew them up a little bit. Especially around those two right-hand horseshoe hairpin turns on the infield.
And I think we do have, Larry, a bit of a ways to go before we start hitting the pit windows for the two classes for GTP. Probably pit window going to open up around lap 20, so maybe around another 3 laps or so. For GT3, lap 23, so about another 8 laps from now.
Bit of contact and slides going on in the background there. It's one of our GTP cars trying to also make his way through this traffic. Looks like they were able to continue. All kinds of action going on in here. Once you reach the infield between multi-classes, it's always a bit of a dicey move.
It is. It gets so tight. And I mean, we've already seen it already coming through the 2 horseshoes, how difficult it can be to manage the traffic there, especially when you seemingly have 6 or 7 cars all battling for the same piece of asphalt as we're watching right now. Looking right off the wide hips of Drazen Lovren's Ferrari, and we've got we saw earlier when he was fighting it out with Robert Hartley and Frosty St. Clair. Well, St. Clair is actually ahead of this. We're looking at looks like Jeff Jacobs has an issue, and I was going to say we were looking at sitting right behind was Travis Schwenke behind the Ferrari. So looks like Jeff Jacobs has had an issue and is going off. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened to the SCCA Foundation driver.
Yep, and so far all right. A little late on the brakes, can't quite woe it down.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's having a sim
and very shallow coming
issue.
in.
Yeah. A little bit of damage already on his right front from some prior engagement. I don't know if that was from just a contact nearby, but it might be bad enough where he decided it's time to go to the pits, which is what we had seen when we were on him the first time, so unfortunate. But we are looking at a new leader.
In
GT3. Yes, that's Chris Thorman, D2D Racing's number 60, Chris Thorman leading Mike Dam, about a second back for Mike in the BMW. So, well, we were talking about it before. Thorman's continued rise in his climb. Let's watch this pass as they are on the banking of the oval, going around past the checkered stripe of start finish. Thorman's going to get that inside late on the brakes. Mike Dam not going to put up too much of a fight there. Probably a good move. It's a long race, but that's a great move for Thorman, your new leader.
Yeah, very deep on the brakes, Larry. And like you said, I think Dam saw it coming and decided to keep that car, hang the car out, driver's right, and not risk any contact there. So now Chris Thorman from D2D E-Racing, he is your new leader. Mike Dam running second in pro. Augustin Castro for Augustin Castro in the Porsche. There he is currently running a very distant second, or probably third in pro. And you can see there he is still caught behind the 2 AM category leaders of Brooks and Dragotta.
Yeah, a little bit. He's about a second or so, I think, behind the second of those 2, Leo Dragotta. So Augustin would probably have to get a little bit closer, which he's starting to make a run on this lap on Dragotta. And there he is. I'm not sure if perhaps Dragotta might have gotten a slowdown, and that's why we're seeing this.
That's why we're seeing this happen, yes.
That bus stop exit will bite you if you try to cut it. I guarantee you that's what just went on there, which is good news for Jeff Brooks. His lead just went from about 1 second to about 3.5. Leo Dragotta has got to do a little bit of work now to get back around that Porsche, and I'm sure that Porsche of Castro is going to be helping out his teammate as Leo is getting aggressive. But Castro is going to probably try to help his teammate Brooks, who's out in front in the AM battle now.
And he holds them off through the International Horseshoe as they come down to the Western Horseshoe, and you can see the Wrong Stuff Porsche driver taking a very defensive line, staying very shallow going into the International as they work their way out. And yeah, indeed, Larry, that has now given Brooks almost a 4.5 second advantage over Leo Dragotta now in AM.
Yeah, good teamwork there for Castro to help out Brooks, keep Dragotta behind him. Even if Dragotta gets a run here in the draft, it's helping out Jeff Brooks quite a bit. I don't know that Dragotta is going to have enough of a run or enough of a draft to make any move at the bus stop. Look at that, the maturity of the young man holding back. Maybe get a run coming out of the bus stop. Maybe just give a little extra inch or two in this exit to not get another course cut.
Yeah, I was just saying, be a little more careful on exit that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you saw there where probably not Castro. Castro had somewhat opened the door as they went down into the bus stop, as Dragotta pushed almost up alongside and then thought better of it. Better to come out behind the Porsche and use the draft as they come now down towards turn 1. And Dragotta's going to try to go deep. And nope, yeah, there you go. He's getting impatient. It's only been a lap, Larry, and he's impatient already, flashing the headlights.
You know, kids these days, I tell you, just under the patience of us veterans. But he thinks he's faster. Maybe he is, but he's going to have to prove it in the right place to make that pass. I guarantee you Castro's not going to make it easy on him. As we get a look back again at our GT3 Pro lead of Thorman, still half a second on Mike Dam. We got to be getting closer to our pit stop window. Do we have an estimate on when that may happen?
Yeah, we're sitting very, very close in GTP. I think actually we've already entered into the window in GTP, and in GT3 about another 5 laps or thereabouts as we're coming up towards the top of the hour.
One thing to note, we just saw that flash on the screen that the stewards are going to take a look at some contact between the 16 of Travis Schwenke and the 11 of Drazen Lovren. So Lovren now is down the order and is apparently pit at some point here. So we'll see if perhaps that was caused by contact between himself and Travis Schwenke, or what the stewards think of it.
All right, and there you go. Kerwin Andrew going to be the first of our GTP drivers to come down the pit lane and take service. You know, Larry, every time I see Bailey Petrowski drive by now, I just feel like I need to wear, you know, a nice, soft, comfortable cardigan sweater.
Yeah. That's your thought.
All right, here we go. Back to the battle for the lead in GT3 Pro. Chris Thorman from D2D in the number 60 Ferrari continues to hold off Mike Dam. Although I would suspect, Larry, that after Dam led the first 15, 16 laps or so, this is a good opportunity for him to maybe do a little bit of fuel saving and slide in and use the draft off of the back of Thorman to maybe lay out of the throttle a little bit.
Yeah, 2 things. You get the fuel save, but you also get a chance to see the tendencies of your competition. So should this come down to a mano-a-mano at the 74th minute, he'll have an idea exactly where strengths and weaknesses of Chris Thorman might be. So you can kind of scope that out, make some mental notes, and be able to use those again in another 40 minutes or so as we wind this thing down.
All right, and you saw there that the no action taken on the impact between Drazen Logren and Travis Schwenke as we jump back over now in this fight in GTP as we're watching Ryan Reisman currently running 3rd in the 414 Cadillac, and Lucas Sidor from Poland, rookie this season in the Aerokinetics number 19 machine, and a good fight still going on here.
Yeah. Lucas in one of our BMWs. There's at the end of the day, when these two each have good setups, you know exactly what those differences are, but drivers have their preferences and they've locked in for the season of which one they're going to drive, and you can see the actual bodywork differences here between the Cadillac and that BMW. The nose on the BMW, unmistakable.
All right, so Larry, I don't know if you just saw some of the notes that have just been given on screen as Bailey Petrowski pits in from the lead in GTP, comes in for his service, but there was just a looks like Drazen Logren in the number 11 Ferrari has received a penalty to be determined later for unsportsmanlike conduct. So we'll see if the number 11 car makes its way back out on track, but I believe he may have checked out of the session already. As we jump back over now, as Leo Dragotta still trying to get around Augustin Castro here. Castro currently running third in pro, Dragotta second in AM, and as Ben Rose, our current leader, goes high and goes around these two drivers, Leo Dragotta has now seen the gap between he and AM category leader Brooks now extend. That's Jeff Brooks, extend to almost 5 seconds.
Well, I tell you what, Augustin Castro doing his best Mark Webber impression here, driving an extremely wide Porsche 911 to hold Dragotta behind him. Dragotta, I think, needs to pick his spot. He needs to really focus on one corner exit or one move that he can make. It seems like he may be throwing the kitchen sink at it, looking for anything that'll stick. But this track, I think, if you don't make the one move, you're stuck a lap behind. Now, look at this. He does get the run off the bus stop. He gets the inside. That's where you want to be, going down into turn one. Looks like Castro is going to let him have it, not fight him for it. Probably the smart move. So Dragotta gets the spot back here. Still 4.5 seconds down from Jeff Brooks, your leader in AM.
And Fernando Takahashi now heading down the pit lane in the number 23 GTP entry. So it looks like a lot of our GTP drivers starting to take service. As we jump a little bit further back, this is Russ Ruddick and Chuck Labano, and Ruddick coming in for service as Chuck Labano now moves up to 6th in AM. And Shad Kern in his BMW, there's Shad in the GTP number 21 machine. He comes down the pit lane for service as well. All right, so let's do this, Larry, especially as we've already had Petrowski come in for service. Let's take a break. Let's thank some of our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here at Daytona International Speedway, where you're watching round one of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa Elite and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. And we'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, for round number one of season number 8, the Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa Elite and Buttkicker. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, as Lucas Sidor comes down the pit lane now for service, we had Ben Rose come down as well during the break, and Ben Rose not able to overtake Bailey Petrowski in the pit cycle, comes out almost 9 seconds in arrears I think at this point, the only drivers in GTP that have not taken service, Ryan Reeves, who is our current leader. There he is right now in the number 22 machine. Bobby Childs, who's running a very close second at the moment in the number 88 Cadillac, as Bobby's going to try to come underneath his teammate, Chris Thorman, currently leading GT3. And then Bill Mulfield in the number 91 BMW has not taken service either. But it looks like when Reeves, based on the times, when Reeves and Childs come in, that should put Petrowski back up into the lead.
It may, but these two running a pretty solid race. Bobby, especially here at this stage, halfway through, a little more than, right, just a couple tenths there behind Reeves. Both of them looking pretty good. I do expect they'll probably stop in the next 1 to 2 laps. I don't know how much further they can go on fuel. We'll see if they dive in now while they're on that banking. And not this time. Oh, yes, there they go, both of them.
Yep, there they come.
Let's see if they get it woed down in time. Nothing worse taking a pit speed limit penalty as Bobby goes underneath one of our BMWs.
Yeah, I think that was the 51 of Brist.
I'd like to make a camouflage joke and say you didn't see him, but it's not really camouflage. It's Eagles and American flag on the side of Bobby's livery here tonight. Well, full America in the cabin.
Right.
All right, this should possibly, assuming that Reeves and Childs don't have just super fast pit stops, it should give the lead of the race back to Bailey Petrowski. See if there's a GTP pulling out of the pits. I don't see one yet.
No, they are still stationary, Larry. And that does put Petrowski back to the lead. It moves Ben Rose up to second. And we'll see here. Lucas Seedor coming down the pit lane, Larry, for his second stop.
Yes, he was awarded a drive-through penalty a few moments ago, and I believe that's what he's doing now, is serving that drive-through.
All right, and now pitting in from second in GT3 Pro, Mike Dam.
Well, this will be interesting. That's it's him coming in and Thorman staying out. It's on Thorman now to get through traffic cleanly if he wants to maintain this lead. Mike Dam will watch his outlap to see if he runs into traffic. That's always the big thing here when you make your pit stops, is the unknown of where do you come out with what traffic, unless you got a whole team of engineers calculating that stuff behind you. Not most of us do. But there is Thorman, pretty clean, coming out of the bus stop. So we'll see if this becomes his pit stop lap. Is also waiting on Augustin Castro to make a stop. There's probably the only two left in the field that haven't stopped.
I think that's
maybe
it.
Aaron
other than Ray Stewart Ron. And here we go. Chris Thorman coming down the pit lane. And I think that's going to leave Augustin Castro as perhaps the only driver left to pit.
And with that, the field has pit as Augustin Castro followed Thorman down pit lane. We'll watch Mike Dam. Mike Dam was neck and neck with Thorman. Thorman had the advantage. Mike Dam now coming out of the bus stop. Thorman's still in his pit spot.
Yeah, he has not started moving as of yet.
Dam's pit time was about 26 seconds. We'll see if Thorman's is in the same realm.
We're 25 now, 26,
yes,
26-8.
That's a pretty solid looking pit stop. Let's see if these two end up right where they left off, side by side. As Castro is probably closing in on the end of his pit stop. Mike Dam approaching the breaking point at 1, going through what has got to be about the size of a sidewalk when you're driving a GT3 Ferrari. And right behind him, there's Mike Dam. Chris Thorman coming out right next to.
There we go. Dam gets
Mike
by.
Yep. But they're together again.
Here we go. And Thorman probably going to have to deal with, for a couple turns here, maybe a full lap, some cooler tires as they need to get up to speed.
That's the one thing we don't know for sure is the tire things. They seem to have similar pit stops. I don't know if anybody took any tires or how fast that happens. But if it's cold tires, that's always tough to deal with here. But Thorman looks like he's on a pretty good pace just coming out of the stop. And we'll see if this comes down right up to the end as down the inside.
And Larry, let's talk a little bit about GT3 AM for a second, because we had caught Leo Dragota coming back out on track, and you'll notice that he's got Augustin Castro directly behind him, but there's a big difference in GT3 AM as Dragota is your new leader. He was in his pit box for about 25.5 seconds. Jeff Brooks, who had been leading and had about a 5-second advantage before the pit cycle, was in his pit stall for 43 seconds. And Brooks is sitting second in AM, but he now has Castro, Robert Hartley, Travis Schwenke, all pro drivers between he and Leo Dragota.
Yeah, I think Jeff Brooks may have had a couple of potential things. One of them, he might have sped in the pits before coming to a stop and then just served an extra couple seconds and sitting there. He may have made the rookie mistake and left on too much fuel refill and didn't get out of there in time. There's a couple of different things that could have happened to him, but what we do know is the effect. It ended up being about a 15 or 18 second swing between being up by 6 seconds to being down by 10 seconds. And that's where Brooks is right now. Although closing, and with a battle going on with the pro class teammate, by the way, of Jeff Brooks' teammate, Augustin Castro, that could help him a lot. If Augustin Castro could shove himself up and around and all over the place and force Leo Dragota to slow down, it could be a good thing for that Jeff Brooks. And see if that's how.
Indeed. I was just going to say that Castro could really play the spoiler if he could find his way back around Dragota and try to back him up a little bit. But, it's so hard to back a driver up at Daytona because you spend such a long time on that oval.
Yeah, so what you really wouldn't do is so much back them up like you would at Mid-Ohio or one of these more twisty road courses. What you could do, though, is just constantly play the pest. So get up alongside into one, get up alongside through the horseshoe, get up alongside through the West Bend horseshoe. Just make the lap time slower, just enough to where you give Jeff Brooks a chance to close up some ground. Brooks is doing a great job on his own. With all, you can see the gaps already come from 10 seconds to now under 9. But right now, if Castro can just sort of be the bit of a gnat in the ear of Leo Dragota, that might be enough to help Brooks close up. But as you say, there's a lot of other traffic between Dragota and Brooks that we're not quite seeing here. That may have something to say in the names of Robert Hartley.
We've got the two
Travis
Orion drivers, Hartley and Schwenke, that I think would be very difficult. And here he goes. Castro comes around the outside.
But I don't think Castro is going to want to give up a spot to Robert Hartley, because that would be in class. And that may be a bit of detrimental to Castro's own progress in this race.
And there you go. And looks like Dragota makes I think it a little bit easier for Castro there. But yeah, there's Robert Hartley, who is now up to third in pro, is kind of stalking around. Probably he's fourth in pro. I'm sorry.
He is, but that battle of Dragota Castro, one of those two is in his class for third. So that's what Hartley's hoping. He wants to see the same thing. Watch those two fight it out. Not only does it help Brooks in his thing, but it also helps Hartley get himself up to a potential podium spot. So let's see how Hartley picks this thing out as we've got 25 minutes left in this race. Does Hartley have a chance to put a second Orion car on the podium?
Hartley's just about a little bit less than a second out. So, or a little bit more than a second out, pardon me. But, he's right on the edges of that draft. That, one or two more corners of contention for Dragota and Castro would probably be enough for Hartley to start to lock in on these drivers.
And the precision, he's hitting these edges of those curbs with that. As we flash to our GTP battle of Fernando Takahashi there in the number 23, and I want to say that's Lucas Sidor right there behind him.
Oh, Sidor is going to come deep.
Yep.
Deep into the Western Horseshoe.
Yep, that's that shortest distance move. It works there for Sidor. He gets the spot. That's now for 6th in GTP. Takahashi, we've seen in past seasons, he can be aggressive. We'll see if he continues that aggression here as it's BMW versus BMW heading on to the banking. The big cars. Look how long these cars are.
Very long wheelbase, yeah.
Modern days of purpose-built prototype level or Formula One level cars. They are just as long as buses, it seems. All right, this is Dre Divock, currently 3rd in GT3M, another one of our wrong stuff drivers. him, I think, is
That's Copeland.
the Mercedes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Team Esport Racer, the sole Mercedes in the field tonight.
I do like the Mercedes. I love the sound of the Mercedes.
Sound. Well, that the GT3 Mercedes is hands down, I think, the best sounding machine.
I know a lot of folks that love the GT3 Porsche sound. It's just a very different sound, but I do love the rumble of that Mercedes from in that cockpit. It's quite the fabulous noise. Kind of brings back a little memory of the other things that go around and around the oval here in Daytona every February. So about 20-some minutes left in this race. At the front, Petrowski, 5 seconds over Rose. Reisman currently third in GTP. It's Mike Dam, Chris Thorman, 2.5 seconds apart, with Castro currently third, but Hartley hot on his tail. In an AM, it's Leo Dragotta, about 9.5 seconds over Jeff Brooks, and Trey Divock currently in third, with Jackson Detmer not out of this. He's about 4 seconds back. Yeah, that's, he's behind Copeland. We've had that eye on him in that Mercedes. Well, you've got right behind him, Jackson Detmer, another one of the BMWs, still kind of lurking, maybe hoping to snag a podium spot here tonight as the battle continuing here in the GTPs. That's Bobby Childs, just ahead of Lucas Seidor, going around Chuck Labano, I think that was in the Ferrari.
Yeah. And hero areas as Childs and Seidor going side by side into one.
Oh, that's damage.
Oh my gosh. And Bobby Childs running wide. I was just going to say that Takahashi was starting to close things down on these two. And Takahashi takes advantage of Bobby Childs' issue.
Well, Takahashi might be closing down, but it was Seidor that really closed things down and made sure that he got that spot. For a moment there, it looked like maybe there was going to be some damage. I don't know if either one of them has any, but they are able to continue. And Takahashi gets that spot in 6th, bumping Bobby back down to 7th, but Bobby's still in this. We'll see if there's any damage on Seidor. Doesn't seem to be.
I don't think so. And Stubby in the chat says, ouch.
Yeah, that one
He knew it was coming too.
Yes. Bobby wasn't going to yield. Bobby's going to hold his ground, and he did. Yeah, the transition, looking at that view down the bus stop, watching them lurch to the outside and back inside, coming at the camera angle. It's pretty wild. There's so much speed for these cars through there. See, Fernando's got a run on Seidor. Polish driver going to get passed by the Brazilian. At least for the moment. Let's see if these two look the same as the last lap. How close is Seidor?
He's giving room to Seidor, and that might be problematic.
That was Detmer, I think, in the 77. If they just went by again, he was trying to get up near a podium in this thing. That looked like a little loose as he was right in front of Seidor and Takahashi.
And Seidor takes advantage, now moving back up into 5th. Drop Takahashi back to 6th.
Yeah, that's Robert Brist in that BMW they went by. And then, of course, you got Copeland in his 15 Mercedes yielding to the GTP cars coming through. Didn't see what happened to Detmer, if he was able to continue.
He is still circulating.
Yep, he's just lost a couple seconds there. He's back now in this, but now 6 seconds back from teammate Divock instead of the 3.5 or 4 he was closing on. Lucas Seidor, again, he had the drive-through penalty just after the pit stops. So he's kind of on a bit of a recovery here. He's got 9 seconds to catch Ryan Reisman for the 3rd podium, and he's got a Ryan Reeves between them to get there 4 seconds up the road. I don't know if he can do that in 20 or 19 minutes now. We'll see how things work out. Now these guys are coming through traffic, and this is going to be a GT3 traffic for Rob Hartley. Currently 4th. So just 2 seconds back from Castro.
Yeah, and Castro continues to hold off Dragotta, but Jeff Brooks still kind of languishing, I think, maybe is the best way to put it, back behind Schwenke there. Hasn't been able to close things down of late. Those two drivers are running very similar lap times, and so he's sitting, where is he? He's sitting almost 9 seconds, just about 9 seconds back from Dragotta.
Well, I think this Leo Dragotta and Augustin Castro battle toned back slowly because both of them saw Rob Hartley coming up behind. Now, I know they're not in the same classes, but when you start doling out points really start adding up, not just within the class, but on the overall as well. So it actually helps both of these guys to stay ahead of Rob Hartley.
Exactly.
So that's maybe why Leo is kind of backed off the battling at this point, to make sure they keep him being, of course, Rob Hartley behind him. And for Leo, he's got the class lead. He doesn't need to fight anymore. But if he can keep the spot ahead of Hartley, it actually does give him more points overall. If I don't know how my points are calculated. Hartley, though, is close.
Yeah, he has been closing things up. That last time was made about a tenth, 2/10 on these drivers, but I think he has been successfully using the draft from the GTP cars ahead. And there you go, you can see Hartley now right up to the back of Leo Dragotta.
I'm wondering if that was Lucas Seidor that just kind of went between him and his BMW. But yeah, look at this. Hartley really coming on strong late in this race. His setup, whatever he did, seems to be good for the long haul. Whereas Leo seems to be a little bit of struggling going on. I wonder if the Porsche is losing some front tires. Is he struggling to get into the corner in the Porsche? He's all right at corner exit. Gets a pretty solid plant you'd expect from that rear/mid-engine Porsche, but it's the entry speeds that right now seem to be costing him. Castro's been able to make up some ground here and pulling away from Leo Dragotta and Rob Hartley behind him. So just a little bit, a couple extra car lengths. Well, Bobby makes his way through the shot. There he goes. Down the inside into one. Passing in a red zone. At least that's what his livery says.
And you'll notice that, Larry, just as Castro gave way for Bobby Child to go into turn one, just that slight move that only took about a second, maybe a second or so to take place, and Leo Dragotta now makes up a good deal of the ground that he had lost to Castro there. And maybe now that Hartley is up to the back of Leo Dragotta, maybe it does make sense for Leo Dragotta to start pushing on Castro once again.
Look at that. The difficulty, though, for the turn in through Apex in the Porsche for Leo Dragotta, he just seems to be a lot slower than Hartley in the BMW behind him. Hartley might just be waiting for that push off, waiting for that lockup, or waiting for that, not lockup with ABS, but waiting for that moment where Dragotta doesn't make the turn in, and maybe Hartley will be able to make the move. So he's waiting to pounce if there's an opportunity that presents itself. Somebody you haven't heard from tonight, John Casey from the Frito Sport Entry, trying to get around Russ Ruddock. These two battling for 6th in the AM class. Ruddock currently has it. Casey wants it. These two even started on the same row together tonight. So
I believe they did.
Oh, look at
There
the
he goes.
move.
Casey pulls alongside, coming out of the Western Horseshoe. Being
Good
that
little
tight's
scrap.
going to compromise his exit speed a little bit here, but
Reddick lets him go, kind of. Maybe just to get a good run and then use the draft. That taller BMW probably needs all the draft
all
help
the
it
aero
can
help it
get.
can get, yeah. Drafts right up back to the rear as they come down into the horseshoe.
A little cleaner run there for John Casey than for Russ Reddick getting through that bus stop.
Casey, I think, had picked up a couple podium finishes in season number 7 as he's upped his game as well. As he'd moved over, I think at the beginning of last season, if I remember correctly, that he had moved over to Frito Sport Racing, and I think as opposed to running independent, maybe having some of the folks there at Frito Sport maybe working on some setups has definitely helped him up his game.
Yeah, pretty solid run right there, able to make the pass to get on by Russ Reddick and make up a spot. Currently 6th in the M category. All right, well, this
Back to Reeves
Ryan
and
Reeves.
Cedar.
Yep, Cedar, after the penalty he served, after the pit stops, has made his way back up. This is one of the things he needed to do. He needs to get around Reeves. He's made up background, and then about 4 seconds up the road is going to be a Ryan Reisman. But with only 15 minutes to go, Cedar has been fast. I don't know if he's going to be that fast, but the first move is he's got to get by Ryan Reeves. Reeves is not going to make it easy, I'm sure, in his Cadillac.
Oh, well, I was saying Cedar not making it easy either as the rear end really steps out on him coming out of turn number 6 and onto the back onto the tri-oval there. Really a big lurid slide for the number 19 machine, but again, able to close things down here coming into the bus stop.
Watch this exit. He's got Russ Reddick in front of them. Watch the exit of the second car side door. See if he can get a better run than the leading car of Reeves. He's certainly up into the rear wing. He's got the draft. Let's see if Sidor goes up or does he go down? Does Reeves give him anything to the left? Make him go high. Nope. He's going to make him go really high.
Yeah, very high.
That's what it was. You had the Ferrari there.
John Casey, yeah.
Yeah, Casey.
Here he goes. Reeves is going to hold him off going down into 1.
Lucas going to have to try the next time. I don't know that he's got any advantage here on the infield enough to make a pass. The quick hands of Sidor we can see there on the wheel in front of us. Next horseshoe.
Well, let's see, Larry, as they come into 6 and work their way back up onto the tri-oval, if Cedar is able to keep the rear end of that car underneath, or if he's going to dial in some opposite lock, much more smooth that time through.
Yeah, that was smooth. He's just a car length or 2 back now onto the banking. They've got a couple of GT3 cars to contend with, probably before they get to the bus stop. I don't know if it's going to be enough, or if, again, Lucas is going to have to try and set up Reeves coming out of the bus stop. Oh, he's going to be the aggressor? Not yet. This is where he needs that exit speed, though. Good exit for Sidor. Because of that entry, might have been even a little bit better for him than for Reeves as they ducked underneath the GT3 car. But now back onto the last turns of the oval. Sidor is going to go high. Is there any more traffic to deal with like the last time? Don't see any. Goes a little way up there. That could help him.
We'll see here. There's going to be 1.
That could help him if they're going through turn 1. He might be able to go around both of them. Let's see if he tries it.
Oh, big brake up from Reeves, and then Cedar goes wide. And they're still trapped by, and now Cedar takes to the grass.
The track extended even.
And I think that's Yago. Is that Yago Mori's just that?
I think it is.
I think in the 9 machine. Yeah, indeed.
And he's a rough start sent him down the order a little bit, and the car has seen a better day, unfortunately. Sad beetle there on that one tonight.
Indeed.
Yago not showing his true pace.
Yeah, fortunately, the number 9 car currently running 8th in pro, as you said, a very, very difficult run for him. But he certainly, not for lack of trying, though, he certainly made things very difficult for Ryan Reeves and Lucas Seedor as they were trying to navigate their way around the 9 machine.
Well, a couple things have happened since we last flashed in. Castro is not changed. He's still third. Hartley is behind him, still fourth in pro. What has changed, Leo Jagoda was at one point between them. He is now about 7 seconds behind Castro,
Yes.
as both Hartley and Schwenke have gotten by Leo, as he's just not taking chances at this point. He's protecting tires, and he's only got a 3.1 second lead over Jeff Brooks. Remember, that was 9 seconds just a few laps ago. We got
That's
8
right.
minutes to go. Brooks is on the charge. I don't know if Leo had a bit of an issue that caused all that, or if Leo has an ongoing issue like worn front tires that he's nursing here at the end. Jeff Brooks he'll look like that. He's the same livery there, of course. And there's Jeff Brooks in the number 85, the wrong stuff entry. We've got Frosty Sinclair about 4 seconds back, but that's not what he worries about. He wants Leo Jagoda 3 seconds in front of him. Yeah, whatever happened to Leo, he might have recovered. Their last laps, the two of these, nearly the same at low 146s. So Leo might have had one bad lap that he's recovered from, but that's all it takes is one more bad lap, and we'll get a little bit of
Let's
replay
take a
here.
look here and see what happened.
He's the second of those Dragon Sports. Yeah, that one. Oh, a little bit of the exit.
Yep, that would do it.
Just the edge there where that grass meets the pavement, trying to get onto the oval. And that'll cost him about 5 seconds. And one more of those, and it might cost him the lead. Race leader, Bailey Petrowski. Making his way around, I believe, GT3 race leader, Mike Dam.
And Dam now is opened up almost a 5-second advantage over Thorman. Remember when they came out of their pit sequence, Thorman, who had been your leader at the time, found himself maybe a car length or 2 car lengths behind Mike Dam, but Dam now with almost 5.5 seconds over the Ferrari of Thorman. So he's really opened things up in the last 20 minutes. And there you go. Thank you, Lee, for throwing up on the screen there the differentials.
Guess the boss does know what he's doing. That is a perfect graphic to show you that lead just stretching bit by bit, lap after lap for the last 5 laps or so. But with about 5 minutes exactly to go before the clock winds down, of course, the checker and white flag will be determined by, right now, Bailey Petrowski as the leader of the overall race, wherever he is, somewhere inside that last minute and a half before we strike the 75th minutes. But Chris Thorman, solid race tonight, I got to say. He may be 6 seconds down, but had the lead for a little bit going into the pit stop exchange. Good, solid second place right now. He would like to stay ahead of Castro or Hartley, who right now are side by side, pretty much right behind him. But Thorman, solid run tonight from D2D. There's that battle. That's Castro in the wrong stuff Porsche. That's Rob Hartley in the Orion BMW. And right behind them, I think that is Leo.
I think that's actually Lucas.
Okay, Lucas. I think maybe a lap down.
Yeah, I think that's Lucas currently sitting 9th in AM.
And he's a lap down, so he's not in this battle.
Right. But again, this is Castro and Hartley right now. This is the battle for third in pro, as we've only got now less than 4 minutes left
spot on the line. And I still wonder if Castro is having that same issue I suspected
with
from Leo. Yeah, just watching him enter corners, a little better than Leo did on some of these spots. But I also know those Porsches just have a history of destroying front tires. Where that BMW seems to be pretty equal balanced right now. Well, Sidor in his battle with Ryan Reeves seems to have lost a little bit of ground. He's now a couple seconds back from Reeves for the 4th spot. Both of them 6 seconds back from Reisman for the 3rd spot. So things just kind of settling and winding their way towards the 75th minute in GTP. This battle we're watching of Hartley and Castro seems to be the best one on the track right now. Just a couple seconds behind these two, about 3.5, is Travis Schwenke, currently 5th in Pro, and Leo Dragota, your leader in AM, just about 3 seconds behind Castro and Hartley. As one of our GTPs makes his way through that traffic. Say it's Ryan Reisman making his way through, currently 3rd. Doesn't seem to be making up much ground even with the draft.
No.
Just really not much. If you get under braking, a crisp turn in of Hartley gets a good exit. I just have a feeling.
They get on the oval there, and it just doesn't seem to be able to make up much ground. And I'm
right. If he can get closer, he's not far, but if he can get a little bit closer, maybe that draft becomes more effective for him to be able to make the move on Castro. But right now, Castro is pretty slippery. That's Reeves. And Takahashi and Sidor, all 3 of them now for 4th spot. No, this could not work out good for anybody.
No, all 3 of them. As Sidor goes off, gets into Reeves, Takahashi gets collected as well. Oh my.
Yeah, that all did not work out well when it started with that lockup. I think you said it of Sidor going in, and when he ducked to the grass, the other guys, Reeves, Takahashi, had nowhere to go. Let's hope these things can take a licking and keep on ticking, because that's a tough way to go. Now, that is your race leader, Bailey Petrowski, just took the white flag with just a couple seconds before midnight, so to speak. He's got to go around one more time. Let's hope everybody calculated their fuel correctly. Bailey Petrowski, 2.5 miles away from winning round 1 here tonight. Ben Rose 2nd, Ryan Reisman currently in 3rd, but we'll see if he's limping with any damage.
All right, let's take a look at this. We'll take a look at it from Sidor's vantage point, as we're going to see him head to the grass here in a moment.
Oh, yeah, he just locks up and nowhere to go.
And just comes back across the pavement and right in front of Reeves. And then Takahashi, we were talking, Larry, about how long these chassis are. And there were 2 cars taking up the entire width of the pavement there. There was nowhere for Takahashi to go.
Yeah, and for Sidor, it's like going sledding down the sled hill and somebody walks slowly across and you just can't stop. You know you're going to wipe them out, and unfortunately it was Reeves, Takahashi sort of in there. Takahashi now has fallen 1 more spot behind Bobby Chiles, so he may have taken on more damage than we thought. That's unfortunate for him. But your race leader, Bailey Petrowski, out of the bus stop at Le Mans Chicane for the last time. Just a 1 long run around to see the checkered flag and take victory here in round number 1.
And he's already flashing the headlights, Larry, as he comes across now. There you go, with a bit of the wheel. He's going to come across the finish line. There it goes, taking the win in round number 1 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. Bailey Petrowski, driver of the number 115 Petro West GTP. Cadillac, your winner tonight. Ben Rose will finish in 2nd. Ryan Reisman, there is the driver of the number 414. He's coming out of the bus stop for the last time and has just about half of the oval to go, or tri-oval to go. He will come home 3rd tonight in GTP.
Yeah, solid race for all three of those guys, finishing up strong. Petrowski, Rose, Riesemann, a well-earned podium here tonight as we wait for our GT3 folks to reach, and I think Mike Dam might be the first one as he's coming onto the oval. I think that's bus stop.
Yeah, and there he is now. And he comes across the line, taking the win in GT3 Pro is Mike Dam from Orion Racing, picking up right where he left off. Chris Thorman will come home. And then rookie to the series, Augustin Castro from the Wrong Stuff.
Maybe
He's going to hold off Michael Hartley, or probably
Maybe.
Robert Hartley, at
so
the
close,
line.
but he does. Yes.
Castro finishes third. Hartley just out of off the podium in fourth, with Travis Schwenke, his teammate, finishing in fifth. And in AM, Leo Dragotta takes the win. But yeah, you know, we said he might be having some issues, Larry. Yeah. 0.3 of a second back from Dragotta is the rookie here this season, Jeff Brooks from the Wrong Stuff. Jeff is going to finish in second in AM, finishing third in AM, Dre Diva from the Wrong Stuff Racing.
Starting to wonder if maybe this late white flag to the finish may have caused a couple drivers to end up being close to a fuel short, or one lap short of fuel. Leo Dragotta may have been awfully close to running out, but he does hang on to that victory in AM. But it was close. I can't wait to talk to him here tonight.
All right. Let's do this, Larry. Let's take a quick break. Thanks to our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll talk to some of our podium finishers here from Daytona International Speedway, where you've just seen round number 1 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Elite and Buttkicker. And we'll be right back.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, the world center of speed, where you've just seen round number 1 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Elite and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod. Let's go take a look at that finishing order again, because Larry, it got awfully close there at the end. In GTP, Bailey Petrowski from Petro West, and then the 2 DNA Motorsports drivers, Ben Rose and Ryan Riesemann, rounding out your podium in GTP. And we saw it there, Reeves and Seedor and Takahashi having that issue. Bobby Child was able to get around Takahashi there.
And I think Bobby maybe getting around a survey 30.
Also, I think probably since Bobby took over or started running in GTP last season, in season number 7. I think probably his best finish. So good to see that for the D2D.
So you remind him that that's not good enough to get a post-race interview, but maybe this season it'll happen for Bobby.
Well, yeah, or hopefully not. Let's see here. Let's move over to GT3 Pro. Taking the win, Mike Dam from Orion Race D2D finishing in second. Then Augustin Castro from Brazil taking home a third place finish, a podium finish for the Wrong Stuff Racing. Then Robert Hartley and Travis Schwenke rounding out the top 5. And then if we move over to GT3 AM, taking the win, Leo Dragota from Dragon Sport Racing. Jeff. Then we had finishing second. Interesting here is we're showing Dre Divock ahead of Jeff Brooks, but I don't think that's how it finished up unless there's a penalty somewhere that I don't know about. That I thought Jeff Brooks finished in second, and then Dre Divock finishing in third, both for the Wrong Stuff. I'll let them fight it out. Jackson Detmer from Elevated finishing in fourth, and then Chuck Labano from Frito Sport rounding out the top 5. All right, let's move over, Larry, and let's bring in we'll start off with our GTP podium here. We're going to start off with Ben Rose, driver of the number 5 DNA Motorsports Cadillac, finishing second tonight overall.
All right, we've got Ben Rose here finishing second in the race, second in GTP here tonight. Ben, great way to kick off the brand new season. Solid points. Did you think for a minute, though, that maybe you're going to hang with Bailey and maybe make a run at him?
Thank you, guys. New season, enjoying it so far. Daytona, best track. Well, I can say that I unfortunately had a lot of bad traffic, and there was 2 particular occasions going into the first horseshoe where I was, I think, a little bit too nice to the GT3s, and I lost about 2.5 seconds on those 2 laps, and that's where I kind of lost Bailey. I think at that point we were like, I think at least 2 or 3 seconds under the gap towards him, and after that I lost it, and he had an amazing pit stop, and I think I might have pitted a little bit too late. But yep, great race, P2, started P2. Feels good. It's good to be back. Hopefully, it keeps going this way. I mean, hopefully I'll get that win, but Bailey was just too good today.
Yeah, it is a great track. It's a great track for multi-class racing. You're back here after having a season under your belt. Did you feel more comfortable coming into tonight as the way the season's kicking off after having the last season to kind of get your feet wet?
I can't say I was comfortable. I guess I'm used to, the league and most of the drivers that are here. I kind of understand, their driving patterns and the way they are. Great multi-traffic this time. I had really no issues. Maybe I had a little bit of an issue with Jacob, but I think I might have just braked a little bit too late, but quite minor. But other than that, I can't say again that I'm comfortable. I was a bit nervous, excited, all of the butterflies going on, and just really glad to start it all over again.
Yeah, those are all good feelings to have here starting off a new season. Anytime you're in a race car, whether it's virtually a real one, to have a little bit of butterflies is always a good feeling. But for you, really great job tonight. Good, solid way to start out the season, getting some great round of points here. Ben Rose, second spot, DNA Motorsports. But you got anybody you want to thank? Maybe helped you get to this podium here tonight?
The wife, as usual, her support is paramount. And of course, my teammate, Ryan, we worked on the setup, and now Adam that has joined us. We worked really, really hard to try to get a good setup for the 3 of us, and I think it worked out. So, I mean, 2, 3, and 9, I think we'll take that. So, yeah, and great up for you guys, with the commentating as usual. Great job.
I appreciate that. But Ben Rose, great job here tonight. Second place in GTP, and what a great way to start off the season.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
All right, there you go, Ben Rose. Let's move over now to our overall winner, driver of the number 115 Petro West Cadillac. It's Bailey Petrowski.
All right, so Bailey Petrowski's got us here from the Petro West Racing victory tonight in round 1. Bailey just kind of took this thing by the scruff of the neck and took off. Was that the strategy that said not let anybody even contend down into 1 and run away with this thing?
That was my hope. I feel like I got pretty lucky with the start because everyone else behind me seemed to get a pretty poor start, so I pretty much had a second lead right off the bat. But it was very up and down race. I feel like whenever the sun was out, my tires were overheating and it was so hard to control a car. But that second stint when there was cloud cover and the temperature started cooling, just the car felt perfect for that and just could get into a consistent pace. And from there, that was where most of my pace came from, because that first stint, Rose was catching me, it felt like the whole time, and I was just barely holding on.
Yeah, Ben put up a pretty good fight there all the way into the main round of pit stops there. But yeah, you had that pace the second half, and you had the precision through traffic to just pick and choose where you wanted to go. Were you comfortable with traffic tonight? Did they help you out a little bit?
Went both ways. For the most part, I feel like I had pretty good luck with traffic. At least whenever Rose was close to me or within a drafting distance, I always got pretty lucky, especially into the bus stop. He would always get caught up behind someone, and I would gain 1 or 2 seconds just from that, and then I could take it kind of easy until next time.
Well, it looked absolutely surgical here tonight, all the way from pole right on down, green flag, all the way to checkered flag. So, Bailey, a great win for you. Great way to start off the season. Max points for you. But I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank for helping you along the way tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I want to thank all my family and friends. I want to thank Buttkicker for sending me out the giveaway. That's been amazing. So much fun to use. I use that this race. Thank all of our other sponsors as well for supporting this series. And for this series to be a thing, because this is just so cool. I love doing this, and I hope to keep doing this for a while. So thank you guys, and thank you for commentating on these races.
Well, we enjoy watching them every Monday night and enjoy seeing well-driven races like yours. Victory here tonight, Bailey Petrowski getting the win in round number 1. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Bailey Petrowski from Petro West Racing, your winner tonight in GTP. All right, let's move over now to GT3 AM. And let's see here. Who do I have? I do have Leo Dragotta, driver of the number 118 Dragon Sport car. He's your winner tonight in GT3 AM.
All right, Leo Dragotta. Boy, that was a race of ups and downs for you. You were in the mix with a couple of the pro class drivers. You thought you maybe had this thing going and maybe a couple of mistakes and put it right down to the very end just by a couple tenths. What all went on, and how nervous were you as those laps were winding down?
Really, really nervous. I mean, I first thought I had no fuel left, so I had to save behind some of the TWS cars, and luckily I got in that slipstream train, which kind of helped it, but then dropped the wheel in the grass, spun it. Luckily there was no harm done, and I had to fuel save on my own with no slipstream and just hope that every corner would be perfect, and luckily it sort of was, but I was able to get the win.
Yeah, right up to that end, we had panned away from you for a minute as you had about a 3-second lead there on Jeff Brooks there, and all of a sudden we flash back to you coming across the finish, and he's there one more lap, and I don't know that the order would have been the same, but for your sake, it came out good for you in the end. Getting victory here tonight, how much does that mean to you to get your first round 1, to get a victory in class?
It means a lot because this is a start for all the rounds to come, and luckily the Porsche is good in the next round, Fuji. So yeah, it means a lot because this means I have a good chance at winning the whole thing.
Oh, look at this. He's got sights sets on the big prize, and you even know what race is coming up next. Leo, you are into this season. I love it. But I'm sure you're not the only one. You've got a team there behind you. Who do you want to give thanks to here tonight?
Yeah, Lucas, my teammate, my parents for supporting me, my uncle for doing setup work this whole weekend. I really appreciate it. Definitely had a lot of setup advantages, which you need at this track. You guys with the awesome stream, everybody at the league, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, well, great job here tonight, opening round 1 with victory for Dragon Sport Racing, Leo Dragotta, and we will see you in Fuji in a couple weeks.
Well, thank you.
Right. There you go, Leo Dragotta from Dragon Sport. All right, finally, Larry, let's move on to our GT3 Pro winner, picking up right where he left off last season, looking for his 3rd championship in a row, Mike Dam from Orion Racing.
All right, Mike, it's back in the BMW. No more Audi for you guys, and it's also back in victory circle for you. Tell me a little bit about your view of round 1 tonight and the battle you had with Chris.
Yeah, this was a fantastic race. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, really glad to be back in the Beamer. Feel kind of at home in it. It didn't take me many laps to really be like, man, this car is great. Anyways, really happy with my qualifying performance. I think that was my quickest lap I've done. So, yeah, and just really tried to stay conservative this the beginning half of the race. I knew Chris was quick, so I just tried to save fuel where I could. But man, he was quick.
Yeah, Chris put up a heck of a fight tonight. Solid second place for him. But I have a feeling that this battle between the two of you is going to go on for the entire season, as he's kind of coming up as that chief rival. But I didn't see much out of your teammates tonight. They kind of had their struggles back there and let you carry the Orion flag. Is that how you worry the season might go? That you're going to be out there just one-on-one with Thorman, or you think your teammates are going to come back and help you?
No, I don't think so. I think this was a case of, if you looked at the qualifying times, this was really a place where you needed to qualify well. And I mean, all three of my teammates tonight were just a tenth of a second, off of second place. So that's the slim margin that makes a big difference on race start, where all of a sudden, you're that 10 to 15 seconds behind and you really can't do anything about it.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that comes back. We've got a lot of big tracks, a lot of big races set here for the World Challenge season. But tonight it was the World Center of Racing, and it was victory for you here in the Orion BMW. But anybody want to give any special support, thanks, or shout out to tonight?
Yeah, all my teammates. Really good setup we came up with, so really happy with that. They put in a lot of work. Big shout out to Chris Thorman. He should be really absolutely proud of the race he did. Like, this phenomenal, the pace he had. So just wanted to say that. Yeah, thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to the admins for putting this on. It's always a blast. Frank at Ricmotech, really happy with the wheel I just purchased from him. So yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome stuff. Well, congrats again, Mike Dam, getting the victory here in round 1 in GT3 Pro, and we'll see what the rest of the season has in store for us. It's going to be a good one. Congrats, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, there you go. Mike Dam, your winner tonight in GT3 Pro, round 1 from Daytona. All right, before we wrap up here, let's once again, Larry, because I think you brought it up. Let's take a look again at our schedule coming up here.
Leo that brought it up.
World, yes, you did. For the Ricmotech World Challenge, of course, we just saw round number 1 here at Daytona, but we are going to be heading to Fuji in just a few weeks. Road Atlanta, the Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans. Of course, wouldn't be the World Challenge if we didn't stop at Watkins Glen, but we're also going to be heading to Monza and wrapping up the season at Sebring. Heard that the Red Bull Ring, might possibly be swapped out, but we'll see how that plays out. Of course, we've got a little while. We've got till the end of November, right around Thanksgiving time, before we have to worry about that. But it's going to be a very exciting season number 8 here in the World Challenge.
Yes, it will. I'm looking forward to how the season's going to go. A lot of big tracks, legendary circuits. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's take a look. We've just run down what's happening with the World Challenge, but let's take a look at what we've got coming up on our broadcasts here in the next few weeks. We're going to take next Monday night off for the U.S. Labor Day holiday, but we will be back September 11th, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for round 2 of the Ricmotech Sports Cars Series for our GT4 and LMP3 cars. We're going to be at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Mosport, for a 60-minute race, and then I guess that means in 3 weeks we will be back with the World Challenge. As we mentioned, going to be heading to Asia, going to be heading to the Fuji circuit for another 75-minute race for round number 2. And then make sure to join us in January when the Ricmotech Touring Car Cup for our Global MX-5 Cup cars and GR86 Cup cars come to the fore. It's going to be early January with a 60-minute race. A little bit early to tell you where that's going to be. But to get more information about the Ricmotech World Challenge, go to xmsracing.com/RWC. And so want to thank, of course, Larry Lefty McLeod, Lee Thompson. They're pushing all the buttons, and I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for the Sports Car Series from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Have a wonderful Labor Day holiday, everybody, and we'll see you in just a few weeks.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.